So we've seen that there's lots of business objectives and there's lots of things that we can track. And the next step is to kind of break these into what we call macro and micro conversions. The macro conversions are the big ones, right? This is the thing that makes a cash register ring. It's very easy for us to tie value back to macro conversions. So for example, e-commerce is one that we can tie value back. I know how much I charged you for it. I know what my costs are. I know what my profit margin is, and I can very easily say you made exactly this much money on this particular product or item being sold on a website. The next step down from that is something like a lead. So if I know exactly how many leads it takes to close a deal, and I know the average selling price of the deal, I can calculate the average value of a particular lead. But it's something that I realize is a part of that funnel. I need leads in order to close deals, and therefore they're very valuable. These are the macro conversions. Even things like phone calls can fit into this. I know how many phone calls I need in order to close a certain number of deals, and I know how much those are worth. I can do that back math and value those. And we'll look at that in just a second. But equally important are the micro conversions. Again, going back to being able to answer that question for our customers when they ask, what did I get for my marketing spend? I spent $1,000 with you. What did you give me? Well, you got e-commerce sales, you got leads, you got phone calls, but you also got all of these other things that we want to track. So we have things in here like coupon downloads or driving directions, right? These are valuable things. When someone goes to our contact page and clicks on show me how to drive to your store, that can be a proxy. That can be a key performance indicator for someone actually coming into a store. Now, we don't know that they actually got in their car and drove down and walked through your doors, but we do know that an uplift in driving directions would probably correspond to an uplift in people coming into the store. We know things like social followers or people who are sharing your social content are valuable. These are good things. These are things that we can come back to a customer and say, with your marketing spend, you got all of these. So of course, the ones above here are just some examples, and you can come up with as many micro conversions as you can clients. Everyone will have something different, and it's our job as agencies to walk through this. In large part, when we sit down with customers, it's literally a game of telling them the things that they're not even aware of. It's knowing what they don't know. And it's a really important piece. A lot of folks will say, I didn't even know Pinterest was of interest to me, much less did I know I could track how many people are pinning my images or have any idea of what that value is back to me. So it's our job as an agency to open up the world of what the things we can track and the things that can be done in the online space. But dividing them into macro and micro conversions is often a very helpful step. Now, all of this is going towards the idea of having business objectives that we can tie things back to. And it's a really important step. Again, we're not talking about things like bounce rate or cost per click or any of the metrics that we work with every day. We're now talking about how we translate all of those things into how we can start to measure and respond to these business objectives. And this is a really important part. Business objectives have value, and we can start to value those things. So we have this conversation with clients all the time. We say, how much is it worth when you get a lead off of your website? And most of them will say, well, we have no idea because we can't track them. Once they got off of our website, they go into our CRM system, or our people just call them back, and it could take a year for us to close a deal. Well, here's a very simple example of how you might be able to value a lead. Now, again, this isn't a financially exact to the penny model that you would do forecasting or modeling on, but it does get our clients in the habit of starting to value these business objectives. So let's pretend, for example, that we have 100 form submissions, and we can go back and we can look at the past data to see this. So there were 100 form submissions on our website over the course of the past year, and we know that of those 100, they led to $1,000 in sales. Well, we know our profit margin. In this case, let's assume it's 50%, and therefore we can calculate an actual value per form submission. In this case, it ends up being $5. Now, it's a rough and quick and dirty calculation, but again, for the past history that we've looked at, this is about what a lead was worth to us. And if we're able to go into an AdWords campaign and get leads for $4.99, well, we're doing something profitable. But if it costs us $10 to get a lead, well, we're wasting money on that particular channel. We might consider shutting down that campaign or spending more in the campaign that's getting leads at a price of under $5. Again, this helps drive our optimizations, and it helps give direction to the marketing that we're doing. So having the ability to value even something that's not as exact as an e-commerce sale, like a lead or a phone call, can be done with this kind of a calculation. And when we're improving upon our customers' businesses, then we're all in a very, very, very good position. And the conversations that we have are very well aligned. And we start to say recommendations and bringing insights, talking about how, hey, we're seeing wonderful growth in this particular area, but we think we want to focus over here. And our customers say, you know what, that's great. I'm involved in what you're doing. I'm engaged in what we're doing. I'm sharing information. We have a wonderful relationship that's growing between us, and we're doing some really wonderful things. Again, for us, this is kind of the ultimate stage of the customer relationship that we want to get to, where we have this ability to be a trusted advisor in their organizations, to show them that we are using the data to help them continually improve and continually better spend their marketing budget and continually help to build their businesses. And again, a great way for us as agencies to build our own as well.